AV in your ears, that's ambush being giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world with my voice Steve, Fascination Street. You already know, let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Hey everybody, this is Jojo Garza of Los Lonely Boys, and you are listening to Fascination Street Podcast.
Yeah, AV in your ears, that's ambush being giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world with my voice Steve, Fascination Street. You already know, let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Austin-based musician Lew Apollo. In this episode, we get to know Lew Apollo and why he moved from Minnesota to Austin and why he felt Austin was the place to start his musical career. We talk a little bit about his debut EP called Jungle, which was produced by local artist and legend Blk Odyssey. And we talk about Lew's debut album, Fool's Gold. It is 9 tracks of neo soul. It's a wonderful album with a unique style. I love Lew's style. It's unlike anything I've ever heard. He brings a lot of different elements into his style of music, and I think you're going to dig it. We get in depth on a couple of the songs. We do talk about some tragedies in his past that have helped reframe his outlook on life and what it means to be alive and awake and in the moment. Some of that gets a little bit heavy, but I promise it's worth it. And then, for some godforsaken reason, Lew decides that he wants to fight with me. He puts his dukes up, I put my dukes up, we go round and round. We have a good old-fashioned slap fight about who's got the better fast food burger. I won't tell you who's on what side or who wins, but I will tell you that there is a Hamburglar-style slap fight in this episode. Lew was kind enough to let me play the song Die For You off his debut album, Fool's Gold. It is one of the most meaningful and impactful songs on the record. I know you're going to dig it. The album is called Fool's Gold. It is the debut album by Lew Apollo. And this is my conversation with the neo-soul singer-songwriter, Lew Apollo.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Lew Apollo. What's up, dude?
How you doing, man?
I cannot complain, dude. Thank you for taking this time to chit-chat. I think we're probably only 57 minutes apart if we were to drive. Like, you're in Austin, right?
Yes, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm over here in Bernie, which is just outside of San Antonio.
Nice. I just was in Bernie a couple weekends ago. I love that area.
Hey, how dare you? What were you doing here, man?
Yeah, right. Me and my wife just had a little getaway in kind of the hill country area. And so, yeah, beautiful out there, though, man. Like, I love Bernie. It's one of my favorite towns in Texas.
Oh, we love it, too. My wife and I, we've been together 20 years, but we lived in San Antonio for a good half of it or whatever. And then we moved away for a job. And then when we came back, there wasn't really what we were looking for as far as buying a house in San Antonio. And so we expanded our search to Bernie. And neither one of us had ever even considered living in Bernie. It's too far. It's too expensive, blah, blah, whatever. But man, we fell in love with this place. And we have lived here for 10 years. We love it so much.
Yeah, man. I've thought maybe it might be possible that we'll end up there at some point, but
nah, there's no music here, bro. There's no music.
You made the
here.
commute to Austin, right? Or San Antonio?
Yeah. Nah, there's no music in San Antonio either.
Good point.
Before we get too far away, tell me about those tattoos. What you got over there?
Yeah. The Faces album cover, Ooh La La.
Oh, cool.
This is just a leopard type of thing to kind of symbolize this album and everything.
The Fool's Gold album?
Yeah, kind of just symbolize my music career a little bit because it's kind of has a jungle theme to it aesthetically and everything. So it's actually my first tattoo that's about my music. So I had to get something like that.
What's the other one about?
This one is, it's my favorite song of all time, Ooh La La by The Faces. Just kind of symbolizing, my father and everything, and kind of the song's about, I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger, the fear of regret, I guess. So it's always a reminder just to live to the full extent now, while I'm still somewhat young. So
Like be in the moment kind of a thing?
Be in the moment, be present, exactly, and try to do all you can just to try everything, you know? So it's been a constant reminder of that for sure.
I love that. There was a podcast a long time ago called The Nerdist. And what they used to say on The Nerdist, that they'd close at that, like as they were going out, they'd say, enjoy your burrito. And what they meant was, you know, half the time you're doing something, you're not even paying attention to what you're doing, and then it's over, and you're like, "Holy shit, I just did that!" Like,
Exactly.
you know, and they were an LA based thing, so burritos, I guess, are big in LA,
Right, right.
and so the whole concept came from like one of the hosts or whatever was like super excited all week to, you know, Friday I'm gonna have a burrito because they were on a diet or something. Like,
Right.
"Yeah, Friday I'm gonna have a burrito. Friday I'm gonna have a burrito." And then when they were having their burrito, they were like on a conference call, so they didn't even really get to enjoy the burrito because they were just eating it while they were doing
Right,
something.
exactly.
And so it was kind of a reminder to be in the moment and stay present. And I always liked that. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like the whole memento mori like phrase and stuff, like we're all gonna die, you know, it's kind of like a skulls and stuff kind of symbolize like your upcoming death no matter what. So all impending doom. So just to try to live and be grateful that we're here.
Yeah. I mean, death is imminent. You might as well enjoy it while you're not dead yet.
Right. Exactly. 100%.
Well, thank you for telling me about those tattoos. I only have one and I don't ever talk about it. So you're welcome.
Gotcha. All right. I won't ask questions unless you want to divulge, but
Nah, it's just a mushroom, like kind of a
gotcha.
magic mushroom that I got on my arm.
Oh, that's cool, man. You know, like the Santa Claus mushroom theory or the Santa Claus theory and stuff.
Well, here's what happened, and I will be cutting this part out.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh man. Oh, that's great, man. I love it. See, that's a story. That's a good story to have for you. You got punked.
Yeah, I got punked. Lew, what I like to do, man, the way I like to start is I like to start from the beginning. It helps us understand how you got from where you were to where you are. So where were you born and raised, man? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, born and raised in Barnum, Minnesota.
That's not a real place.
Yeah, I know, right? It doesn't seem like it either when you're there. It has one stop sign, no stoplights, just in the middle of the North Woods in northern Minnesota, just super tiny, very far away and very isolated. 500 people, graduated with 40 in my high school class, I believe. Kind of a late bloomer, actually. I picked up guitar when I was like 15, seriously. I was definitely kind of a jock in high school, just did all the sports, basketball, football, baseball. 10th grade, I quit basketball, even though it's like my favorite sport now. Picked up guitar heavily, and I think the pressure of having a star athlete and an older brother and a star athlete and my father and everything was weighing on me. And so I decided to kind of go a different direction. And so that's when I picked up guitar. And, you know, I had a musical family. They weren't any professional musicians, but they all loved songwriting. They all loved Bob Dylan from northern Minnesota, Prince from Minnesota. So there's a line of music that I could have followed, and I decided to go that direction.
I sort of did the same thing as you. My sister has a great singing voice, super talented. My dad, singer, songwriter, musician. He's for my whole life. And so I quickly decided that there's no fucking way I could be musical. So then I was like, oh, you know, sports.
Right.
Yeah, I can't do that either. So I was just I just got in trouble all the time instead. That was my hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the issue with growing up in such a small town, there was like no trouble to get in, you know?
Well, see, I also grew up in a small town between where I am and where you are, a small town called Schertz, Schertz. And at the time, it was a small town.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot bigger, but there was no trouble to get into. So I had to manufacture my own trouble, which means that the police really didn't know what to do with me. So everybody was confused. Me as the criminal, them as the authorities, everybody was confused. So it was good times.
The extent of my criminal career is on like highway exits. We actually grew up on I-35 as well, even though it's also in Austin. On highway exits, we used to lay a roll of duct tape down, face up, and then cars would run it over, and then it would feel like they had a flat tire. But that's about the extent of my my criminal career, I think.
I love that. This episode is brought to you by duct tape.
That's right. Yeah, 3M.
So what was the plan, dude? I mean, you're in this tiny, tiny, tiny town where I'm gonna guess you probably know everybody. What was the plan? What you want to be when you grew up?
I didn't really know. I was kind of lost. And so I went to college in St. Cloud, Minnesota, which is a bit bigger town. I went to school for film. I thought I was going to be in film. I still think maybe that's in my horizon at some point, just because I get to exercise that part of my creative ability when it comes to music videos and things like that. But I thought I was going to be a filmmaker. And then I started writing some more songs. I joined a college band that just did 90s covers in Minneapolis and everything. And I quickly found out after playing a few shows that this is what I really need to do. And so this is where my soul is and where, my family ties in when it comes to, playing songs growing up and everything. And I found I had a knack for playing guitar. So I was infatuated by Stevie Ray Vaughan, of course. And that's kind of the reason why I visited Austin in the first place. And that kind of pulled me here in a way. And I thought I wanted to be a blues guitar player. And so after moving here 7 or so years ago, I quickly did, blues guitar. And I wanted to be Stevie Ray Vaughan, as everyone does, as a guitar player. And then I quickly found out that that's kind of a dead end road of playing kind of bar gigs and playing Stevie Ray Vaughan covers. I realized I needed to make a name for myself. So that's when COVID happened. I started singing and started writing my own songs. During COVID, I met a couple people that encouraged me and everything, and my wife encouraged me along the way. And so that's when I started this project and this pursuit of being my own artist and being a songwriter first. So yeah, it's just kind of been a natural progression from athlete, guitar player to singing and being a blues guitar player to, kind of carving out my own artist. So.
Okay, now I'm not trying to get anybody into trouble, but you said you met these musicians during COVID.
For sure.
Buddy, you weren't allowed to be meeting anybody during COVID.
Right,
what are you doing?
exactly.
What's wrong with you, man?
Exactly. No,
I'm not going to tell. I'm just saying.
No, right. No, 100%. So yeah, COVID was definitely, if there was a silver lining, it was that, for me personally, it was that I needed to realign my life and everything. I think everyone had a state of reflection in that time because we just couldn't do anything. I tried to make the best of it and, focus on what I want my future to be, I guess, so.
You mentioned that you have a wife. Did you meet and marry her in Minnesota or in Texas?
We're coming up on our 9-year wedding anniversary this October. So we've been married for a long time. I met her in college in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I was on a film set, college film set, trying to do a film, and she was doing the makeup. And so that's how I met her. I asked her to hold my Mountain Dew. That was my move, I guess.
I laugh, but it worked, right?
Yeah, I guess it did. Yeah, in retrospect, it did work. But yeah, and she's musical as well. She co-writes most of my songs now, sings in the band. Definitely my muse when it comes to songwriting and extremely artistic and talented.
Let me ask you a question, and this is going to sound rough.
No, let's hear it.
What was her reaction when you said, "Hey, you want to move to Austin so I can be Stevie Ray Vaughan?"
Yeah. That wasn't the easiest conversation, I'll tell you what.
Where's she from?
Northern Minnesota, a bigger town. So she's also from Northern Minnesota. And yeah, it was kind of a hard conversation to have, to move out of where all of our family is and to move to a town that we know 0 people just to kind of do music. But, I kind of explained that we're young. This is the time to try and make something happen. And my family is very encouraging. Her family was encouraging for us to do something. And it's tough to make yourself in Duluth, Minnesota, or, Barnum, Minnesota, for that matter. So we knew we needed a change if we were going to try to pursue both of our passions.
Well, how is she liking it? Well, how do you like it? How do both of you like living in Austin?
Austin's cool, man. It's, we quickly kind of formed or got launched into a creative community. I thought of it as such the live music capital of the world, like it's so gigantic and so many musicians, but I realized that it's actually kind of a tight-knit community. Not to say they don't allow anyone else in, but just to say that there's a smaller number of people running the music scene than you think from an outsider perspective. So we quickly got to meet people and everyone's so encouraging and stuff. I actually did a songwriters round a couple nights ago here in Austin with a couple of my friends that I initially met. Coming to Austin, it's just amazing to watch each other's growth. And it's such a vibrant and culturally just vibrant city to be a part of and community to be a part of. And I'm very grateful. I've been grateful to know a lot of cool people and calling Austin home. Maybe we'll continue that or maybe go somewhere else. But I'll always have a special place for this town for sure.
What is your wife's name?
Jasmine. She goes by the artist name Mellow Jackson, and she's going to be releasing some music here soon that I've helped produce.
Oh, snap. Well, welcome to Texas, Lew and Jasmine.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
We're going to talk about one more super, super controversial topic before we get into your music career.
Let's do it.
This may end the interview, depending on how this goes. And this actually may get you kicked out of Texas, depending on how this goes.
Oh, no.
Lew.
Yes, sir.
Buddy. You don't like Whataburger? What the hell?
I tell you what, man, I've had many conversations, many late night conversations about Whataburger. I don't mind Whataburger. I think they're all right. However, if you're in Austin and the surrounding areas, and I'm sure you know this, Steve.
Don't you dare say it. Don't say P. Terry's, bro.
Bro, come on, man. That is P. Terry's.
Listeners, just so you know, when I said don't say P. Terry's, and he said, come on, man, he pushed himself away from his desk. That's how serious he was about it. It was almost like he was about to stand up. He was just like, what are you talking about?
Yo, P. Terry, I'm telling you right now, P. Terry's, the first couple times I had it, I really didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't love it. Rather had McDonald's those first couple times.
And that's where I'm going to end that clip.
But I tell you what, P. Terry's grew on me, and it's now like, as the kids say, I believe it's the GOAT. So P. Terry's. However, just last weekend we were in New Mexico, and we had a place called Blake's Whataburger. Have you ever had that? I think that's only in New Mexico.
Were you in Santa Fe?
Yeah, we were in Santa Fe and
Okay, yeah, I've only ever seen that place in Santa Fe, but I've never eaten there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of locations in New Mexico, and we had it, and it blew my mind. The fries, everything. Now, P. Terry's, for me, the burger, the double cheeseburger, and the fried chicken burger are the thing, but I wouldn't go to bat for their fries. I don't mind them, and they're good. Maybe Whataburger takes that cake. Though the patty melt from Whataburger, I lived on for a while, and I quickly had to start getting into working out after having the patty melt.
I love that.
I know. I kind of tainted the rest of this interview, but hey, let's.
Yeah, I'm going to look at you a little bit differently now.
Believe it.
For the rest of your life. All right, let's talk about your music. I have heard your music described as neo soul. The hell does that mean?
Good question. I don't really know what that means.
Good answer.
Yeah, right. I kind of classify it as soul in a way, neo soul in a way, because it's kind of like singer-songwriter. It's kind of an all-encompassing term, I know soul is actually technically under R&B umbrella, but I classify it as soul because it's music that comes from the soul, and it takes from many different genres. Definitely blues, definitely rock, definitely singer-songwriter. I was just talking about this the other day to a buddy. I think it's the most difficult thing as an artist to classify your own music because you're so close to the sun on everything that you really don't know what even sounds good, what doesn't sound good, what's rock, what's soul, just because the song has an acoustic guitar doesn't make it folk, the same as an electric guitar doesn't make it rock. It's tough to classify, but I figured soul during COVID, or a couple years after COVID, actually. So like 2022, I met the artist named Blk Odyssey, who's kind of propelling right now with his own music. But he started producing my original music I had out, the debut EP that I released. And he's definitely a neo-soul / hip-hop artist. So he kind of ignited that soul flame in me, if you will. Since meeting him and since learning his production style and really being inspired and mentored by him, I've kind of always classified my music as neo-soul. So that's why.
So this debut EP that he produced for you, is that Jungle?
That is, yes.
Why did you call it Jungle?
Good question. Jungle kind of resembled a lot of different things in my life at that time, and it still does. First of all, I'm from northern Minnesota, where there's no jungle, but there's very dense, forest. So it feels very enclosed.
You guys got bears up there?
We do, yes.
Gross. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. Brown bears and black bears primarily, but...
No, thank you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm good.
You're right. Yeah, me too. Usually they're pretty scared of humans generally, but
not as scared as I am of them, I promise you. They
like to dig through your garbage, which isn't fun. But yeah, so I called it Jungle because I felt it really resembled my mind at that time, really kind of overgrown, and all the pressure of trying to create myself and create my own artist and be a songwriter and reinvent myself in a lot of different ways. But at that time, also, my dad took his own life, which was very much a catalyst behind a lot of those songs and definitely all of the songs on this debut record that I put out.
Your dad took his life while you were working on your EP Jungle?
Prior.
Before Jungle. Okay.
Right. So just prior. Yeah, you got it. That fall prior, I released it the following spring, that debut music. But yeah, it was definitely a catalyst to make myself and just try to put my life aside and figure out what I kind of want to do and how I want to sound. So I felt Jungle really embodied my mind at that time. It was really overgrown. I was very I was trapped in a mind state I felt like I couldn't get out of. And I felt like it was a good visual representation to how I was feeling.
I'm glad I asked, but that sounds not like a fun road to go down.
No, sir.
So let's go down it.
Hey, let's go down it. Yeah, I'm an open book. So yeah, absolutely.
There's a song that everybody gets you to talk about. It's called Die For You.
Right. Yes.
This was written before your dad took his own life.
Right.
But as you produced it and recorded it, you sort of read into it more than you had previously read into it. Is that right?
You got it.
Tell me about that song.
Yeah. So Die For You, it's really a weird one looking back. So it's the second to last track, 8th track on the album. It was definitely a weird one. In retrospect, I wrote it a month prior to his passing, and I produced it out a month prior to his passing, very similar to how it is on the album, with a couple of production elements that were pretty eerie at the time. For instance, in the middle of the first verse, there's a little gun cocking sound effect. The song's about your loved one leaving and just saying that you die for them, and that's kind of the same circumstance that my dad was in at the time with my mom. And so it was very much kind of a premonition almost looking back, realizing that, I had questions around that time. I asked my mother and, I asked him directly about my fears about his possible passing. And so I kind of was upfront, with him about that.
So this wasn't something that completely came a 100% out of the blue?
Right. Yeah. So that was already on my mind when I wrote it. However, when I wrote it, I was just expecting to write a love song to my wife and kind of saying that I would die for you. A couple months leading up to writing that song, at least, I had those feelings with everything kind of weighing on me. So I think it kind of wrote it in that perspective. But to produce it out and for there to be kind of coincidences in there and the lyrics, how they developed at that time, and then knowing what I know now, it's pretty eerie to kind of hear that song back, honestly.
This may sound weird and touchy, but you said knowing what I know now. What does that mean?
Well, knowing that he's passed now.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird situation because, man, I wrote that song, not meaning that. And I feel like, songs develop over time after you write them. I feel like every artist says that's kind of a cliche by now, but I think they take on different meaning as you keep living. And a few of my songs have already done that for me. Today is actually the 3-year anniversary of his death. It's very much a difficult song to hear back, but this whole record, it does have very dark themes, and it's all rooted in, his passing and the way he passed and what he was going through at the time. However, I do see it as a record to push out mental health awareness. I was very close to my dad, and he was my best friend for sure, and my biggest supporter, my biggest encourager to continue to do music and for us to move to Austin in the first place. And so I see it as overall a positive record, just to be close to your loved ones, and you never know what everyone else is going through. Everyone's going through something.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, absolutely. Thank you for that. But it's been a road for sure. And the silver lining, if there is at all, behind all this heavy stuff, is the shows that I go out and play, or the connections that I can make, with you and with other people, makes life so amazing. To hear what people have gone through and to connect with people over something that we can kind of bond in a way over our mutual, loss or our mutual, troubles. You wouldn't have good in life without the bad. You can't have good without the bad. And it's a tough reality, but I've gotten to connect with so many different people. There's probably a couple of people every single show we play, knowing that I've gone through this, that come up to me and find solace and just communicating with me. And us having interactions, about heavy subject matter. And I think we all get closer and we all love each other more because of these things.
3 years out, how are you doing with it?
I'm doing all right, man. The last track on my record that I just put out called Feeling Okay kind of sums up kind of how I'm feeling. It's definitely the darkest song I've ever written, besides Die For You, I'd say.
Yeah, but you didn't write Die For You to be dark. You wrote it as a love song.
100%. Exactly. But Feeling Okay definitely kind of sums up how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling great. I'm not feeling horrible. I'm feeling all right. I take every day as it comes. I try to feel what I feel, and thankfully I've been doing all right. I still talk to my dad every day, and I feel he's very proud, and he was a great father to me and my older brother and my wife, honestly. So I'm feeling okay, and I try to just present my truest self to everyone I meet, just so that they can kind of see that it will be okay and there is a tomorrow, and you don't have to be defined. When my dad did pass, my older brother, who was absolutely a godsend to me and my favorite person on the planet, he said one thing that really stuck with me and still sticks with me. He said, "This will not define us." And so I think it's really important to know that no matter what you're going through, whether how difficult, it doesn't need to define you. You still have control over your life, and it will be difficult, but there is tomorrow, Not to be super cliche, but that's just a reality that we live in.
Sure, well said.
It's tough, and I was worried a bit to put out this record, not because I wasn't ready to put it out, because I definitely was ready to talk about this. I was worried because it was such kind of heavy subject matter. But that's why I try to frame it as a real mental health awareness campaign behind this album, to just kind of say, hey, everything is okay. And so my family, of course, has heard the record and stuff, and extended family. One particular person in my extended family was, having a tough time with my father's passing. And so I sent the record when I had it done, and I said, I hope you hear this as a positive record that, given the reality now that we're all doing okay, something to look back on, if you will. Like the darker songs you're able to look back on and realize how far you've came. And that's why a day like today, which is the anniversary of his passing, is really almost a celebration of his life. Knowing that, me and my family are still here, and are doing okay.
You don't have to answer this, and I'll cut it out. And if I'm overstepping, I apologize.
Please.
We're 3 years out from this tragic event. Have you forgiven your dad yet?
100%. That's the truth. To be honest, I forgave him that day. It was tough, but I did. I know what he was going through. The record also it doesn't hint, but it covers the topic of, obviously depression, anxiety, and feeling really low. And those are things that I struggle with as well, and so many people struggle with, it's a reality that a large majority of the population deals with something, deals with a bit of depression or maybe anxiety or maybe a bout of something. But yeah, I forgave him day one. I didn't blame anyone for his passing or him. I understood. I think what helped is possibly being fearful maybe prior. I think in a way it was preparing me for something. I think the songs like Die For You and such were in a weird way preparing me, to go through something really difficult. But yeah, I've forgiven him. Absolutely.
One last thing about this, and then we'll move on.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
I know that shortly before he passed, and maybe even the last time you saw him, he told you that he would never do anything to hurt you.
Right.
And I know that you've had some time to think about that and sit with that sentence and that statement.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any advice for maybe people who are in your shoes?
I do. Following his passing, what really helped me is I really dove headfirst into a lot of teachings, a lot of philosophy. It's a big cliche nowadays, but particularly Stoicism, the thinking behind that theory and stuff, which is, every moment that we live is the only time that we have. So this second talking to you is the only time that I will experience. And then this millisecond, the next millisecond, the next millisecond, we can't live in the future. We can't live in the past. So the reason why I forgave my dad is I understood that early. And I knew that when he did pass, I knew that was a split-second decision he made. I knew that it was not premeditated. I knew he was not in his right mind. And so that's why I forgave him, because I knew it was just a slip up. And most of the time, 99% of the time, when people pass, by their own hand, particularly, it's usually a mistake, and I think if they would have had that moment back, they wouldn't have done that. So that's why I forgave him. And that's been helping me along, because, his passing is in the past. And now I have his memories, That's why the anniversary of his death, it reminds me and it makes me sad, of course, but it also can be a time that I can celebrate him. He's just as much gone today as he was yesterday, as he will be tomorrow. And so it's on us to carry their legacy and just to know that the next moment will come. So, there is light at the other side, just to know that other people have gone through this.
Got you.
And I understand that with this topic, I'm definitely not the only one. That's been comforting, at least a little bit, to know that like other people have survived this, to know that your loved ones still love you. And that moment in his life, to me, doesn't define him as a person. And I don't think any particular moment should define anyone. I know in my heart that he was such a great father and such a great dad, in general. That's what keeps me living and keeps me talking about him.
Beautiful. I know we talk a lot in 2025 about not letting someone's worst moment define them.
Mm-hmm.
Viewed through that prism, we all have bad moments. And, like you said, just because your dad had a really bad moment,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't define him or his memory or his legacy. Absolutely. So I think that's a great way to look at it.
Absolutely.
You got your head on straight, son.
I hope so. I don't know. If it was on wrong, I wouldn't know what to do. But yeah. If it was on wrong, I might be eating Whataburger every day. I don't know.
Shots fired.
No, I'm just kidding. I tell you what I'll do tonight. I'll get it. I will get it. I will try it. I'll do it again. What's my order though? I don't know. What, like a triple?
Just get a number one with cheese.
Just a Whataburger with cheese. All right.
Yeah, number one with cheese. That's it.
To me, every time I get it, the patty is like, it feels like it's lukewarm. I hope they're not listening, and I'm sorry, Whataburger.
Well, this episode really is sponsored by Whataburger. So.
No. I have had the patty melt. I'll ride home about. Absolutely, that's good.
All right, cool.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Warning. Not listening to Fascination Street podcast may cause unexpected side effects. Side effects may include sudden fits of boredom, irrational curiosity about everything you missed, the inability to name your favorite podcast interview, spontaneous ignorance of obscure celebrity stories, talking to coworkers about nothing because you didn't hear the latest episode. Other symptoms may include excessive use of the phrase, "Wait, what happened?" Chronic seriousness with no trace of laughter or delight, unexplainable urge to scroll aimlessly instead of being entertained. In rare cases, not listening may lead to wandering aimlessly through podcast apps, overexposure to true crime reruns, and thinking you're cooler than you actually are. If you find yourself experiencing any of these symptoms, stop what you're doing immediately and download Fascination Street Podcast. Ask your podcaster if Fascination Street Podcast is right for you. Spoiler alert, it is.
Let's get back into it.
This is a weird question, but Lew, since we talked so much about it, and it is such a, I don't want to say defining song, but it is a song that lets everybody know what your style of music is. Mm-hmm. Can I play Die For You?
Absolutely. Please.
There's a catch. You got to introduce it like you're a radio DJ.
All right. Okay.
But you do have to mention the album that it's from, though. All right.
Okay, I'll try. This usually takes me like 40 tries to like introduce something. This song is called Die For You. It's on my debut album called Fool's Gold. So check it out.
Who are you?
No, I guess so. Yeah, I forgot. This is what I mean. That's why it takes many times. Yeah. Hey, what's up? I'm Lew Apollo. This song's called Die For You. It's on my debut album called Fool's Gold. Check it out.
Thank you. Well done.
Last week I smoked 3 packs a day. How could you leave me this way? Dead and alone. Now I'm standing here with coke in my veins. Babe, I'd give you the reins.
Let's talk about some happier stuff.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Let's do it.
Your music is happy, and your music, been listening to it for the last few days, both Jungle and Fool's Gold. You have a very unique style, and I want to dive into where did that come from. I know you said that you wanted to be Stevie Ray Vaughan when you got to Austin, but what are some of these influences? Because your music, I think I told you as soon as we heated up the mics, or maybe before that your voice, like I thought you were going to be a lot older than you are based on the tone and the tenor of your voice. Where does your style come from?
That's a good question. So many different things. I think that's why I have a tough time labeling it as a certain genre. A couple of the artists I'm heavily inspired by in today's world is Leon Bridges. Of course, I love Leon Bridges, the soul vibe that he has. There's a band called Jungle who's taking the world by storm from the UK.
Is that why you named your EP Jungle? Was that
No, actually, so I didn't really know about him prior to naming it that. The way I discovered him could have been because I had the album Jungle out, and then I searched my own EP on Spotify, and the artist came up, and I probably...
That's how I found out when I first started this. I wanted to see where I was,
Right.
like, am I on this platform? Am I on that platform?
Right.
That's how I found out that maybe a year into this, there was like 3 other Fascination Street podcasts.
Right.
They all started after me, and they're
Right.
all long gone, but that's
Good.
how I found that.
But yeah, so it was weird because it's like, and then I listened to him and I realized that I love this music too. And so that band particularly very much inspired the songs like Let the Light In and Diamonds and Gold, those like more upbeat, No Room in Hell, those upbeat songs. And yeah, Leon Bridges, and there's another artist named Hosier that people pronounce 2 different ways. He's great.
I think he was on Saturday Night Live last season.
Was he really? He probably was.
Yeah, I think he was.
He's huge, man. He's so great. But I like to say that every artist I listen to and everything you do every day, I think inspires you in one way or the other. So I've been inspired by everything growing up. My dad listened to a lot of Bob Dylan, Neil Young, a lot of folk, which I love and I hold close to the heart. Gordon Lightfoot, all those type of artists, Simon and Garfunkel. My mom was into Prince, Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin. So it was kind of the blend between songwriting and, pop, folk, pure songwriting, and more of like curating a vibe and really having the energy, of being like a pop vocalist. I like to think that it probably originated there.
That sounds about right.
For sure. But yeah, I don't really know. I was gifted this classical guitar.
Is it that one I'm looking at right there?
No, actually, here, it's this one. I was gifted this classical guitar after my father passed from my wife. She always knew I wanted a classical guitar. It's a Cordoba, and it's been with me, and I've held it very close to my heart. Very sentimental, and my most sentimental guitar, honestly.
Is it like a flamenco style guitar, or?
Right, exactly. Okay. Yeah, you got it. So almost every single song I wrote, start to finish, on that guitar. Whether about my father or not, it was mostly all written on that guitar. And on the record, you could hear it on almost every song. It starts out the record, it ends the record, it starts out No Room in Hell, it ends Feeling Okay, it's on Die For You, it's on Let the Light In. So yeah, I added a little bit of a Latin influence. I think that just naturally occurred because of the flamenco style.
You've mentioned a couple of times the song Let the Light In.
Yeah.
That is one of the most uplifting songs I have heard in quite some time.
Oh, thank you, man.
You're welcome. It's a beautiful song that it reminds you to open the door, and literally let the light in, because what did they say? Sunshine is the best disinfectant or whatever. Like,
that's right. Right.
So yeah, that's a beautiful song. Everybody should definitely check that out.
Thank you, man.
That actually might be my favorite song on the album. What is your favorite song on the album? I know it's like making you choose your favorite
right.
baby or your favorite burger.
Right. Right. My favorite fast food burger is probably Pete Terry's.
He said it again.
I'm gonna reiterate that 10 times today. No, I know later on tonight I'll have the choice between Whataburger and Pete Terry's. I know that's how tonight's gonna go.
This episode is definitely not brought to you by Pete Terry's.
But yeah, Let the Light In was a favorite for a while. It always changes. It changes month to month. But I'd say overall, for the longest period of time, I do really like Let the Light In. Most of my songs come together very quickly. That came together in about under an hour. I wrote that start to finish on this guitar. And then I produced it that day. And I finished the day, went to bed with the full track, pretty much almost exact how you hear it on the album, with a couple changes. But yeah, that song really was kind of a wake-up call for me personally, because after I wrote it, I enjoyed listening to it. There was so many songs that I've written up until that point that I just really didn't like. I hated the sound of my own voice, being a newer singer at that time, just didn't love my production style. And so Let the Light In, I kind of felt I came into my own with the whole sound of the record, the production style, my voice, everything. I felt I had a direction at that time. That one is definitely close to my heart, as they all are, of course. But Feeling Okay, the one that closes the album, is another one that's very close to my heart, as it's kind of the darkest song I've written. And that one kind of has changed meanings as well. It was a very dark song at first. As the chorus says, I hope that when I wake up, I don't remember my name. And I took that as a very dark thing when I wrote it. Like, I don't want to know who I am. However, my wife recently told me a couple months ago that said, oh, you hear that as a sad song? I hear that as a positive song. And I'm like, oh, how so? And she says, because every morning, I hope that I wake up, I don't remember my name, that I can just reinvent myself every day. And so she took it as a positive.
So she took it as a fresh start. Every day is a new day.
That's a fresh start every day. Yeah, yeah. So that kind of had a hidden meaning and is fighting over my favorite spot.
Bro, it's like your past self is your current self's greatest therapist.
Right.
Like you're writing all this stuff in the past that eventually you're going to find out what it means, and it's going to help you in ways you didn't even imagine.
For instance, this conversation, you just said Let the Light In is one of the most uplifting songs. Not to taint your
burger.
Not to taint your interpretation of the song, but for instance, like when I wrote that song, it's really a breakup song. I hope when you leave, you keep the door open so it can at least shine light on me, because I don't have strength enough to open the shades. But, over time, that has developed as a positive song because the chorus is positive, let the light in. So, yeah, everything always evolves and makes all these weird connections in your head after the fact.
Absolutely. And no, you did not taint my interpretation of the song.
I know. See, here's the thing. I hear a lot of artists, talk about the music, and I know a lot of artists are hesitant to explain what they meant when they wrote the song because it means different things to different people. So I don't want to, create the meaning of the song for someone that has a different meaning already. They are really open-ended in that sense.
Well, the funny thing about how open-ended they are is that depending on when somebody asks you, Lew Apollo, what does this song mean? What is the song about? Depending on how long it's been or your distance from it, it means a completely different thing than it did the last time they asked you.
Completely different. It's really wild. It's really wild. Yeah, absolutely.
Who produced Fool's Gold?
Me.
Just you? No Blk Odyssey on this one? It's you?
So he actually co-produced the second to last song, Die For You. So that chorus is very signature, his sound. We did that actually for a project prior to thinking that it would be on this album. So we worked on that song a little bit. We did a really R&B version that I didn't really vibe with. I think I liked the original demo. However, the chorus he produced for the R&B version was very, very catchy and very cool. And I really resonated with it a lot. So I kept that version of, or that section of that version, and then just connected it with the other version that I produced. So he co-produced that song.
Nice. Where was this recorded, this album?
Here in Austin, a studio called Orb Studios.
So it was at an actual studio, not in your living room with Pro Tools?
No, you got it. Yeah. An actual studio. Absolutely. All the songs were written and kind of recorded, partially in my apartment here. I self-produced everything pretty much at home. And then I brought it in with the help of my engineer for the record, Victor Gaspar, who actually just recently won a Grammy, and he's phenomenal. He's so quick, and he was definitely my closest mentor, if you will, and compadre through the whole process of doing this, because I was kind of scared going into self-producing a whole album, kind of it being new, uncharted waters.
Your debut album, for sure, yeah.
Right, exactly. I was kind of nervous, but he's been around so much and so many experiences that he was like, I got you. I'll cradle you if you need to, And so he kind of guided me throughout the process and helped me kind of make a couple decisions. So he was very instrumental in getting this album completed.
Nice. You wrote all of your songs on that guitar that you got after your dad passed.
Yeah,
for the most part. So you're in Minnesota and you're like, what I want to do is I want to go to Music City in Texas and become the new Stevie Ray Vaughan, having never written a song before?
Right.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Going back to that, I just wanted to be a blues guitar player, for like other bands, if you will.
Double Trouble. You just wanted to go play for Double Trouble.
I just wanted to go play. Yeah, you got it. I just wanted to play the licks on guitar, really. You know what I mean? And so I always thought I'd just be like a side man, like a side guitar player. And I think that's why I'm still very shy today of being a front man and being my own artist, because like I never really expected to make this change until like I said, COVID happened. But prior to that, I was doing cover gigs just as a guitar player, trying to join as many projects as possible and, try to maybe do some instrumental songwriting. But yeah, my wife and everyone encouraged me to, start singing and to start writing songs. So yeah, I never really had the ambition to do that until in retrospect, I realized I needed to make that change. And then I quickly found a love for it and quickly realized that this is actually my path.
Shout out, Mello Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out. Absolutely. I tell you what, one of the songs on this record that is kind of fun to listen back to for me is Diamonds and Gold, which I feel like a lot of people have been resonating with on this album. It got picked up by like KUTX here in Austin, which was kind of surreal. But that was one of the first songs I've ever wrote. It was very, very simple. It's like 2 chords. It just was much slower. And so when I then realized that I could produce from songs like Let the Light In and everything, that was actually the last track. Diamonds and Gold was one of the last songs that I realized maybe should fit on the album. And that was all because of Mello Jackson, my wife. She kept encouraging me to revisit that old demo that I really hated the sounds of. So I realized I needed to make it like a house track, like Jungle, speed it up, add like a 4 on the floor kick. And so with production and learning how to produce, that song quickly took a turn into being like one of the main tracks on the album. So without her, that song wouldn't be on.
I gotta ask, why did you get lazy and only put 9 songs on this record? Come on, bro. What are you doing?
I know. I should have made it much longer.
At least one more song. Come on, man.
Right. I know. Just to get to 10. It was going to be 10, actually.
But you had to drop the Whataburger theme song. You're like, I can't do that. I can't release that. I don't even like that.
Oh, man, that would have been great. That would have been so good.
That's how you should tell the story. You're like, you know what? It was going to be 10. The last one was an ode to Whataburger, but then it had P. Terry's, and so I had to take
But then
I
tried P. Terry's again. Yeah, exactly. And it was too late to try and rearrange the lyrics to say P. Terry.
It just didn't work. It didn't fit. It was...
Yeah. No, yeah, it was actually going to be 10 songs. So the song called Sweeter, the 4th track on the album, I believe. We kind of designed the album for it to be listened on vinyl, for there to be side A and side B. So Sweeter finishes out side A, and then the B side, the rest of the album, is a little darker, and it kind of devolves a little bit more into my mind and into a little darker subject matter. But Sweeter has 2 parts to it. So there's the first part where I'm singing, and then the second instrumental part that gets a little Latin infused. So that was actually going to be part 1 and part 2, and we were going to extend that part. However, for the vinyl, we realized we wanted to trim the fat on everything. So I realized I just needed to make that 1 song and just have it be a 9-song album. I'm a very, very much like live as well. And personality wise, I trim the fat on a lot of things. I don't love to have unnecessary things on there that, don't work or anything like that. I'm very straight to the point with a lot of things. Besides how I talk, which is an issue, but I'm very straight to the point with a lot of things. So when it comes to the album and the sequence, I really want it to be no fat and for it to be all soul and all my best stuff, I felt, and all things that I really resonated with and I felt I needed to say. And anything else that, I felt was good enough to put on the album, but I didn't feel that resonance with, I just left it off.
Well, this album, Fool's Gold, is all soul. Everyone, I highly recommend you check this album out. You said this was designed to be released on vinyl. Is it on vinyl?
It is on vinyl, yes.
If somebody was looking for a vinyl copy of Fool's Gold by Lew Apollo, where might they go to purchase this thing?
So they need to go to lewapollo.com. LEWAPOLLO.com. You can DM me also on Instagram. I'll mail it right to you. On Facebook, I'll mail it right to you, or contact me on lewapollo.com. I send a personal message with it, and I'll sign it for you as well if you want.
Oh, fantastic. What is next? I know this album just came out, so it's a little disrespectful to say, what else you got? But what else you got? What's coming down the pipe? Are you working on more songs? Do you have more written?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a couple things written, but yeah, I definitely know my direction now. So I've been writing a lot of stuff this November, I'll be back in the studio for a week or so to record album number 2. I'm slating to have that done and out hopefully around the same time next year. I'm trying to set a goal to do an album a year, but if it's not up to par or not up to my expectations, I won't do that. But it's very hopeful and encouraging right now. I think right now, since I know my direction and everything, I feel I'm writing, my best things for sure. I'm excited.
How is the first song on the next album, PTW? How's that coming?
Pete Terry's Whataburger. Yeah, it's going really good. The title of the next album will be PTW.
The Hamburglar.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, I'll take Whataburger and Pete Terry's over Wendy's any day. McDonald's is still good in my book. I'll take it over Burger King as well. I'll say McDonald's, Whataburger, Pete Terry's are all fighting up there.
I don't know how I feel about that, so we're going to move right on. Lew, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yes, sir. Instagram is kind of the source of truth with everything these days, and that's Lew Apollo, Lew Apollo. Someone has Lew Apollo without the period, and I've been trying to get it, and they have 0 followers. They're following one person. I don't know if they're dormant. I've tried to get it, but it's just not working. But Lew Apollo. On Facebook, it's at Lew Apollo, no period. TikTok, at Lew Apollo, no period. YouTube, Lew Apollo, just search, you'll find me. You can Google me and all the links will come up. So just remember LEW is Lew Apollo.
And once again, the website?
Yeah, lewapollo.com. No period.
No period. The only period is on Instagram, huh?
That's right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's frustrating, but hey, that's the game you got to play, I guess.
So I'm going to call Mark Zuckerberg.
Please, yes.
I'm going to say, listen here, Marky Mark. Listen here, Zucky Zuck.
Listen here, Zuck. Honestly, that'd be cool if you did that.
Oh, yeah. I'll reach right out. As soon as I'm done here, I'll just pick up the bat phone and I'll call Mark Zuckerberg. Lew Apollo, before I let you go, man, is there anything we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about specifically that you wanted to talk about today? Did we cover the big bits?
I think we covered the big bits. Yeah. Most importantly, Pete Terry's. But yeah, that kind of sums up my career to this point. That's the cliff notes, if you will. But yeah, just check out the album and, you kind of get a look into more of my soul and more of the things I'm trying to say.
This dude said, most importantly, Pete Terry's. Where can people listen to Mellow Jackson? Does she have music out available?
Not currently. Very soon will be out. That will be out at Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming services. But just keep a lookout. It's MELLOJAXN is her artist name. And yeah, you can see here she features in all of my music videos she's in. She co-wrote most of the album. She's definitely a talent, so look out.
Also, everybody, when you go to lewapollo.com, you can click on the tour link, and that is where the shows will be. As we're recording this, there's 2 shows. One of those might be over by the time it airs, so I don't want to drop those dates. But go check out lewapollo.com and click on the tour link, and that'll tell you where he's going to be playing. When you do play, does Jasmine get up there with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so she sings backup on every show that we do. And we have many more shows coming up soon, things that haven't been announced yet, but I definitely take pride in our live show. I consider us all, me and my band, live musicians first. Before we ever got in the studio, we make it a very enjoyable and energetic experience. We'll be in LA soon. That's yet to be announced. Also be in Louisiana soon. A lot of things working on the back end for these upcoming shows.
I forgot to ask you, do I understand this correctly? Did you open for Los Lonely Boys?
We did, yes. Yeah, we just got off tour with those guys all across the Midwest. So we're up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago, down through Tennessee, Nashville, Memphis. And yeah, those guys are great. We're actually under the same management. So very close to those guys, and they're phenomenal.
So Jojo Garza of Los Lonely Boys was on the show, I want to say February.
Oh, awesome.
And then they came to San Antonio in February, and you did not open up for them in San Antonio. Wish you would have. That would have been awesome.
I wish we would have too. Yeah, we try to get on as many as we can. We did El Paso with them. We did Midland with them.
Oh, cool.
We did Corpus with them.
Everywhere except San Antonio.
Everywhere except
and the city you live in.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully soon. Maybe next year or something like that.
Well, the next time you're playing in San Antonio or just cruising through the Texas Hill Country, dude, give a fat kid a holler. I'd love to. I don't know if you drink. I'd love to buy you a beer or a
course.
coffee if you don't, man. But at least shake your hand. That'd be cool.
Man, absolutely. Likewise, man. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man.
Lew Apollo, the neo soul artist with the brand new album Fool's Gold. You got to hear one of the best songs on there called Die For You. You got to hear that a little bit earlier. Go check him out everywhere. And Lew, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic writing songs and diss tracks against Whataburger schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, Steve. Honored.
You have a great rest of your week, dude. Take it easy.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Opening music is the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jax Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.